Today I'm going to be talking about 5 strong archetypes that you can build a full deck for with $20 or less. You can definitely add different extra deck monsters, hand traps, or other staple cards to increase the power of these decks. To start off with, at number 5, I have Springans. A lot of the Springans are low rarity and mostly from the sets Blazing Vortex and Lightning Overdrive. They revolve around their field spell, Great Sand Sea Golgonda. The field spell allows them to easily get their Exceeds monsters onto the field by discarding a Springans card. Merrymaker can be used to set up the graveyard and get the engine going, while Explorer can destroy cards of your opponents. This is going to be the most expensive card while currently being a couple of dollars. Luckily, you usually don't need more than one before the duel is over. Since the field spell is so important, you want to run searchers for it. Terraforming, Springans Booty, and Springans Watch can all search the field spell, giving lots of opportunities to start with the field spell. Some of the main monsters are Brenga, Rocky, and Brothers. Brenga can search for a Springans card by banishing itself and one other monster from the graveyard. Rocky can get the field spell or a Springans monster from the grave to your hand, while Brothers can special summon a Springans monster from the grave when it's sent to the grave from your deck or hand. They also have some decent interruption that comes with the deck. Springans Blast can negate a monster while you control a Springans monster. Springans Booty can also negate a monster. And Springans Interluder can negate any card by your opponent. All of these cards have pretty simple conditions as well that will let you play these cards. Springans are a nice budget deck with lots of the cards being around a quarter, making it easy to pick up. At number 4, I have Yosenju. Yosenju is an older archetype that started off in the Secret Forces that normal summons to get all of their monsters on the board. The main monsters we want to see are Yosenju, 1, 2, and 3. 1 can bounce face-up cards your opponent has, while 2 can attack directly. Yosenju, 3 searches for cards when you deal damage, which works great for 2. These cards also gain a normal summon as part of their effect, allowing you to get all of them on board. All of these monsters are about 50 cents each currently, and all have decent effects. Since Yosenju monsters return to the hand during the end phase, you can play some fun cards that go with that. Yosenju Sword Sting can return up to 2 face-up cards just by revealing Yosenju monsters. Drowning Mirror Force is cool because it will shuffle attack position monsters into the deck when they attack directly. They are more likely to do this when there are no monsters on the field. Creature Swap also works pretty well because you get to keep the monster you trade with while your monster will go back to your hand, which is very cool. Yosenju can also play Floodgates very easily, slowing down the opponent. Lose 1 turn is great because you don't really need to special summon. Other Floodgates you can use are Gozen Match and Rivalry of Warlords, since all the Yosenju monsters are Wind and Beast Warrior. This means that they could play both of them if it would be helpful. The Yosenju deck is a decent budget deck that doesn't require an extra deck, which helps it to be under $20. For number 3, I have Melffy. Melffys recently got reprinted in the 2021 Megatins, making them even more affordable than they already were. All the Melffy monsters activate when your opponent summons a monster and when being attacked. The main monsters you want to start out with are Melffy Caddy and Puppy. Caddy can add beasts to your hand, and Puppy can summon level 2 or lower beasts from the deck. Your Interruption comes in the form of Hoppy or Squadron, which allows them to secret summon on the opponent's turn, and Kalantoza, which can destroy a card on the field when summoned, and this is not once per turn, which is very nice. This is really easy to use Kalantoza because Melffy Puppy can summon it from the deck, Melffy Fenny can summon Kalantoza from the hand, and you can even get the effect off from the grave using something like Joyous Melffy. This makes for a nice and simple interruption. They can also use beast support pretty well. Bellerophon can special summon by discarding a card, and Ayer's Rock Sunrise is a monster reborn for beast monsters. Obedient Schooled is going to be the most expensive card at less than $2. It is very powerful and allows you to special summon 3 beast monsters while you control no monsters, setting up your board very nicely. I would look to play Melffys if you want simple interaction with the opponent, and of course adorable monsters. At number 2, I have Phantasm Spiral. This is another deck that also revolves around the field spell, but this time it includes normal monsters. The field spell is Pacifist, the Phantasm City. When you normal or special summon a monster, you can search for a Phantasm Spiral card. The field spell can even special summon a token that will count for the search. The first thing you can search is equip spells. Wave allows a normal monster to not die by battle. Crash allows you to inflict piercing battle damage, while Grip gives a normal monster 500 attack. They all have different conditions that allow you to special summon Phantasm Spiral Dragon. This will probably be your boss monster, which has decent stats at 2900 attack and 2900 defense. Another thing you can search with the field spell is your Interruption. Phantasm Spiral Battle can destroy one card your opponent controls, while Phantasm Spiral Power can negate a monster for a turn and lower its attack. The crazy thing is that if this field spell is on the field, you can activate these from your hand, allowing you to apply more pressure. A newer eruption for Phantasm Spiral is Fist of the Unrivaled Tenyi, which allows you to negate a card if you have a non-effect monster, which you generally will have. This deck can also use Floodgates. There can be only one, Rivalry of Warlords, and Goza Match could all be good options. Depending on the normal monsters you use will determine which Floodgates will be good to play with. If you're looking for a deck where all the cards are under $1, doesn't need an extra deck, and play normal monsters successfully, then Phantasm Spiral might be the deck for you. For number 1, I put UA. Their most recent support came in Phantom Rage, which helps them to be more consistent and have more plays. Very few of their cards are nearing $1, and most of them are much lower than that. On their offense side of things, Dreadnought Dunker can inflict piercing damage and destroy a card when it inflicts damage. Muddy Slugger is nice because it makes it so battle traps can't be activated when it attacks. And UA Power Jersey is good because the monster gains attack, inflicts double damage on monsters, and can also attack twice. This really helps when looking for OTKs. On the defense side of things, you have Perfect Apes, which can negate any card by discarding a card. Blockbacker can negate special summon monsters' effects and change their battle position. One of the newer UA monsters is Player Manager. When you special summon this card, you can destroy one card on the field or negate face-up monsters that aren't UA monsters, which is very powerful. Versatility of this card is also very nice for the deck. The UA deck has some great consistency cards. Stadium can add a monster when you normal summon, while Hyper Stadium can be activated to add a monster. They even have Signing Deal, which will special summon from the deck, though the effects will be negated. They can also run Foolish Burial Goods, which will send Penalty Box, which can banish itself to search for a UA spell card. Foolish Burial Goods is going to be over $2 to get, so if you don't want to buy that card, Paleozoic Morella can also send Penalty Box, but it will just be slower. UA is another deck that doesn't really need the extra deck, and they also have some explosive damage and great defensive plays, making them a great budget deck. These were my top 5 budget decks under $20 that can do decently. If you want to see a sample deck list, there will be links in the description to videos about each of these decks. Let me know if you know about any other cool decks that can be built for under $20. Thanks for watching.